Where is the best place to live in Michigan? Well, I'm going to go over some of the best places to live in Michigan, specifically Wayne County. I'm going to talk about how much it's going to cost for you to live there, because one of them is a little tricky. It's sort of a one town and you get like certain things that are from another town. It's kind of like a hodgepodge of things. If there's a city that I don't cover, comment below. Let me know what your favorite city is because I can't cover every city in Wayne County. That'd be ridiculous. There are over 40 cities in Wayne County, Michigan. First up on our list is Livonia. I made a couple of videos about it. Check them out, maybe after you're done watching this list. There's no downtown in Livonia, but they do suck up your leaves. Just rake them up when they fall, and they pick them up. This is one of my favorite things about Livonia. It's the little things. The population is about 90,000, just about the same amount as Canton, Michigan. And we've covered Canton a few different times in a few of my other videos. You should check those out too. The average income in Livonia is about $69,000, and the average house will cost you about $209,000, which isn't too bad, right? That's about $58,000 more than the average Michigan home, but about $22,000 less than the average home in the United States as a whole. If you're moving to Livonia, make sure you get into the school district that you want or the school zone that you want. There are 3 different high schools in Livonia, and then there's Clarence Field School District, just sort of like a 4th oddball in the mix, and it covers a few different zones that are a part of Livonia, Farmington Hills, and Bradford, all go to the Clarence Field School District. So you got to figure out where you want to be. Check with your agent about that one, or me, remember, real estate guy. Next up on the list, we have Northville. Northville is actually in both Wayne and Oakland County, so it gets a spot on our list. I'd call Northville sort of a dense suburban area, and they have an awesome downtown. That's one thing that I really love about it, but it's expensive to live here. The average home will cost you about $424,000, and that's just the average. Michigan's average is $151,000, so quite a bit above that in Northville. Makes sense because the average income here is over $91,000. That's the average family income. It's a lot of money. Little fun fact here, Northville actually has 3 awesome cider mills. So if you like cider donuts, things like that, there are 3. There's Parmenter's, 3 Cedars, and Obstbaum Orchards. How do you say that? Well, I don't know. If you know how to say it, let me know. Comments below. Obstbaum. I'm trying. Next up on our list is Canton Township, right off I-275 to take to Ford Road. Know how I feel about Ford Road if you've watched my other videos about Canton. Not a huge fan of Ford Road, but I love the area. Population a little over 90,000, just like Livonia. It's kind of just squeezed. You've got house after house after house after house after house. You'll be able to see what your neighbors are eating for breakfast if you're living in Canton. The thing about Canton is, it's very flat. You can just stand at one point and you can just see for miles. And at one point in time, it was the sweet corn capital of Michigan. And it makes sense because it looks like farmland. But with houses, those rows of corn, now it's just rows and rows of houses. Average house price in Canton is about $270,000. So that again is more than the average home price in Michigan, and the average income is right around $82,000 a year. Not as high as Northville, but you know, it's still pretty pricey. Next up on our list is Plymouth. It's located just north of Canton. So if you had a stack of cities, it would go Canton, Plymouth, Northville, Novi. So just bam, 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 bam. As far as the city goes, it's actually pretty small. There's about 27,000 people who live in Plymouth. So compared to Canton, it's about 1/3 the size. Tiny spot. Now, the kids. If you have kids, they will go to the Plymouth Canton schools. Both Canton and Plymouth, and we break down all the schools and everything in my Canton video. If you want to check that out, there are a bunch of different areas there. The average income is about $80,000 a year. And a home will set you back somewhere in the $340,000 range, but $336 is, I think, the official number. One thing about Plymouth that I love is the downtown. They have an amazing downtown with a ton of restaurants, bars, and things like that. Everybody knows about DTP. That's downtown Plymouth because it's amazing. If you like wine and pizza, there's Pizza e Vino. So good wood fire pizza, bunch of wine. Look at an entire wall of wine there. And if you like Mexican, try out Barrio. I really like the street tacos. You just get like 3 a plate. They come on like they double up. The tortillas, I just slide them off and like double it. So I ordered 3 and I ended up making 6 out of it. That's my food life hack. Next up on our list is Grosse Pointe. You can't have a list about Wayne County, Michigan without including the points. There are so many to choose from. We've got Grosse Pointe City, Grosse Pointe Park, Grosse Pointe Farms, Grosse Pointe Woods, and Grosse Pointe Shores. A lot of gross going on there. Wikipedia calls it the affluent coastal area adjacent to Detroit, Michigan. And it's a fancy spot to live, one of the fanciest. It was first settled by French farmers back in the 1750s. And it's now occupied by anyone who wants a fancy pad close to Detroit. So, if you're looking for a place close to Detroit, this might be your spot. The houses here are totally amazing. Grosse Pointe Shores happens to be the fanciest of the bunch. The average home price is $567,000. That's the average. That's a lot of money. And the average income here is over $140,000 a year. That's a lot of money too. Grosse Pointe is actually home to the Edsel and Eleanor Ford House. So if you want to take a tour there, it's super cool. It's amazing. Look it up on Google, you'll find it. This place was actually designed by Albert Kahn. He designed the Fisher Building in Detroit, the Detroit Athletic Club, and the Bella Isla Conservatory, and a ton of other buildings. He was actually called the Architect of Detroit because he's designed and built a bunch of really cool places. Next up on our list is Westland, Michigan. Now, houses in Westland will cost you about $140,000, but there's an area south of Joy Road where you're in Westland, but you get Livonia schools. So you get the benefit of the Livonia School District, and you pay a little bit less. Now, the thing that I hear a lot of real estate agents talk about is how you pay lower taxes in Westland and get to the Livonia schools, but that's not true. Taxes are actually more expensive in Westland. So if you own a home in Westland with Livonia schools, you will pay more in taxes than you will if you just lived across the street over in Livonia, but the house will be a little bit less. Same house, less expensive, higher taxes. I think the most frustrating part about that to me is you pay more taxes, but you don't get the leaf pickup. So if you rake your leaves out to the street, they're not going to pick them up for you. They'll pick them up across the street of Livonia, but not in Westland. But you do get the schools, so that's good. What do you think about this list? Is there any place that I should have included? I'm sure there is. There's over 40 cities in Wayne County. If you think good one that I missed, drop it in the comments below. And if you'd like to check out some of the other areas, cities, and towns around here, check out some of these other videos and playlists around here, and I will see you there.